foremost, it's time to impeach President Sunday. I'm just saying it right here. Okay, it's time to impeach this man.
Feeling
I will
better?
say this about Nick Deorio. He knows his audience, and he knows that the drama space is a lot of people who have ADHD. So he's like, we're gonna watch and react to this video, but I'm also gonna play Fortnite, and I'm gonna make sure your ADHD riddled brains are so intrigued on one thing or the other.
I'm here for the downfall of Destiny. Like, don't get me wrong. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the after show. We are in video 3 of our Destiny saga here. So the video that we were talking about last time with President Sunday, Deorio actually goes over it and gives some insight into his part in the video, his unwilling participation in this video, where he too was recorded without his knowledge and subsequently utilized by President Sunday, like we said, for his influence. So because
There
of
seems to be a growing trend in this space of people getting recorded without their knowledge.
I mean, commentary people have been doing it forever. It's always been like for backup or just in case people say it without like people don't want to be caught with their pants down in case somebody starts going around saying things like what Bo Blacks did. So that is going to be a really long video. Well, at least this video is really long, so let's get right into this.
Destiny has been accused of revenge. Okay, at the very least, the allegations are related to distributing material of a sexual variety without the consent of the person who's shared it or whatever. There are several videos that have been released today about this. I'm also in them. We'll get to this as we go. It's very funny. A lot of people were asking me, Nick, when did you film this super cool cameo for this video? We will get there. We will get there. He's been exposed. He's released a statement I waited for the statement to come out, so we're gonna go through all of it. Now, it's been kind of cooking for a couple of weeks. Bits and pieces have been getting leaked privately behind the scenes.
So Bonerbox starts dating a Destiny Orbiter. The Destiny Orbiter tells Bonerbox, I never had sex with Destiny. And then Destiny, in the endless interest of like trying to fuck e-girls that are in his...
I get why he's got it on there for certain things, but why for the whole thing? Like,
I have no
move it around.
I don't
move
know.
it around, bro. It hurts my eyes.
Well,
library of
I'm
content
sure he
that
does it
filmed
for
with
a
his ex-wife,
reason.
which I'm sure his ex-wife is not fully on board with. I would suspect that if you were Destiny's ex-wife, you probably aren't very happy about like videos of you guys having sex being distributed to random people, including many other people. And that person that he sent it to, their friend, I think, leaked all of those videos and made it viral. And one of them was even Destiny like sucking a penis.
So we're gonna get to this.
And that was the months ago, the couple of months ago that we were talking about with the whole Fuentes. Yeah.
Right now, President Sunday has released a 22-minute video exposing Destiny, leaking this stuff to the public, and this is going to be fun.
In this video, I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's a story.
First and foremost, it's time to impeach President Sunday. I'm just saying it right here. Okay, it's time to impeach this man.
Story that has been replicated over and over and over in government, in show business, in business board.
I like how he always talks like a Bond villain. Maybe.
Dude, and see, this is the thing that I dislike about these types of creators who have like a gimmick like this. It's like even though Harmful Opinions does a good job on his videos, he always has that, oh, I'm just a cynical guy. That's just my harmful opinion. I'm just like, it's kind of cringe to be a gimmick like that.
Yeah.
Not a Bond villain, doesn't have the cool factor, but he always kind of monologues like a Marvel villain. Is a Marvel villain better?
I will say this about Nick Deorio. He knows his audience, and he knows that the drama space is a lot of people who have ADHD. So he's like, we're gonna watch and react to this video, but I'm also gonna play Fortnite, and I'm gonna make sure your ADHD riddled brains are so intrigued on one thing or the other.
Well, a lot of it is like most people who like watch don't actually watch. Yeah, they're listening. And for the people who are watching, like they're more so. Yeah, he's giving them something to watch while he listens to the
Visual
video. And all that. Yeah, I mean, I've done that too on my own video. Maybe we'll do that in the future or something. But like, yeah, it makes sense. For me, it doesn't matter. I just listen. So
restaurant franchises. This time, it's about a man with a small social media empire on YouTube.
Now, here's the deal with Destiny. I'm going to come out and say it. This guy, I don't know if sex pest is the right word. It probably is, to be honest. I mean, like, the guy is like a fucking sex fiend. This guy is addicted to sex. He's fucked through half of Twitch. It's obviously become a huge problem in his life. All right. I mean, this is the person who literally started a polyamorous relationship explicitly because he couldn't stop cheating on his partners. There's some weird sex thing going on here. I saw some post saying they gave Destiny an incredible mind, but they nerfed him by making him a fucking sex fiend. You ever watch Blades of Glory? Who's the guy from Blades of Glory?
Mind, yeah.
He's got a mind, that's for sure. But I mean, Deorio's not wrong. He's literally fucked through like half of freaking Twitch. It's become a huge problem. There's like, dude is, I don't want to say he himself has ruined relationships because it takes two to tango, but like, dude.
Bro, we ironically enough, we're recording this after Lookout Live aired tonight, and actually, ironically enough, Wings had the same thought process that you have. Like, isn't it just like known that Destiny is just like a sex pest, and that like he leaks videos?
Like, because
isn't it just like a thing? Like he's like I don't know. He literally had the same take we did on the first video, which is out now, which we kind of that kind of. but he has pretty much the same take of like, there's not that much empathy for Pixie in his mind, because it was kind of implied that this guy kind of does
it's like,
this.
Listen. It's like if you're the nerd and you go up to the quarterback and you think you're gonna magically fall in love and you're gonna have 5 kids and you're all gonna grow old together and he's never gonna like no. Like, dude's gonna go to college ball. He's gonna be there for 3 years in the hopes that he gets drafted. He's gonna smash through half the freaking state. Like, it's what happens, man. Like, Destiny is one of those people who just has that type of money, and it's been known for a long time that he's like been a sex fiend. Like, he's been a freaking horn dog. Like, it's just what it is. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you swim with sharks with a cut, you're gonna get attacked. Hell, if you swim with them without a cut, you're gonna get attacked. But it's just it's a little harder to have empathy on that part.
Destiny, like the sexaholic. Yeah, I mean, like, remember Goon? Did you see the Goonacide recently where that guy died? This is the second Goonacide that we're seeing right now. I am not shocked when any sexual allegation of any kind is released about Destiny, for the sole fact that this guy is like so overfucked. It's just bound to become a problem eventually. So before we get into like the legitimacy or the facts of the actual case here, I'm a bit swayed when I hear that.
Encounters which he recorded.
Destiny's the Chad Michaels of Twitch.
It's about how that man developed such a stranglehold over his community that no one, no matter how disgusted they are, will dare call him out for this, even when it becomes public knowledge. And most importantly, this is a story about power, and of how normal human feelings can be contorted to serve a machine to make a man immune to the effects of the abuse he has inflicted on an astonishing number of people.
My shock on here is like, I don't know why President Sunday did this. I don't understand why he's like, I'm the only one who can make this video.
Did I not ask you nice enough?
Especially when there's so many other ones. But like, listen, it's not the man who created a machine. No. It's a man who got a lot of money, and people who want that money protect him. It's the same thing with Hassan and Twitch. It's the same thing with like multiple YouTubers and freaking YouTube. I mean, like, there's been so many different crazy things that have happened between YouTubers, between doxing and swatting, and they've all remained on the platform. Like, it is what it is. If you bring in the money, people will protect you because they want it, because everyone wants their cut.
I don't understand.
Stephen Bennell II, or as he's known online, Destiny, is a highly successful political streamer and content creator who has garnered infamy not just for public outbursts and controversial political positions, but also for an impressive number of public threats, sexual scandals, and even outright criminal actions.
I'm pretty sure recently he's doxed Sunday. I don't have that on the...
And see, here's some context that would have been nice in the Cope and Seed video. I'm just gonna be honest.
Docket, but I'm pretty sure that that's the thing that happened. Yeah. So I mean, again, there's this huge feud between Sunday and Destiny that's been going on for years. He was on his like permanent ban list for a time.
I had no idea.
From his community and stuff. Like, this is obviously a long-standing grudge match.
This recently culminated on November 29th of 2024, when an anonymous
probably because none of you will cover it. Well, when you have a platform, and you actually have some form of credibility, then you can realize why you can't just publish a person's third-hand story
Mhm.
about an allegation that you don't have vetted by a guy who's literally most known for doing takedown pieces on people who have bad research.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just true. Not even that. It's just like, and then Deorio goes into it a little further, and freaking peek behind the corner or curtain. I have watched all of this because obviously once I started learning about us having, basically being duped by Sunday and people who were getting their information from Sunday and all that, I had to start looking into it. And anyways, as it gets into later down the road, you can't even go ahead and come forward with allegations if the people making the allegations don't want to come forward themselves. And throughout almost the entirety of this, up until the point where they could no longer like deny it, the victims themselves weren't wanting to come forward or have this even be talked about. So
They were afraid of the guy.
yeah, I mean, listen. Destiny can do. I mean, he's paid people off before, like chicks before. I'm pretty sure, if I remember from that, from our last video that we did. So they had said that someone just said that all he does is pay him off or whatever. But like you're going against power, man. Like that's just the bottom line, and people will protect the money.
Like you're welcome to go ahead and do that, but I mean, if that's your position, you're just going to be retarded.
Discord and Kiwi Farms user going by the name Solo Leaks published a large repository of private messages and pornographic images and videos of Destiny with various men and women to Discord and Kiwi Farms. Recordings that
So the things that he's talking about here are like, most of the internet was like, hey guys, look, Destiny's sucking a dick. Everybody else went, surely all of those pieces of footage that were released of him having sex, there's no way that all these people just consented to this stuff being shared. But again, most of the public facing stuff was, holy shit, dude, guys, Destiny's gay. He sucks cocks.
Which is actually totally true, because when it happened, all that was on freaking Twitter was, oh my god, the BJ video with Des. Yeah, it took
the problem. That was the front piece, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, he's sucking dick."
And that's the thing, though, right? Is like he freaking it was like it took this long for people to even really make enough noise about the other people, about the girls, and all of that. Like, start getting into it.
We don't care that he sucks dick. We don't care that he sucks dick. We care that he's recording people without consent. Like, and this is the story that was like
the sharing recordings of people without consent.
Yeah, sharing.
We don't have any don't. But there's an accusation of a chick who in the last video it was an accusation. Yeah. But no, it's crazy. But even so, people are just like, oh, like Sunday's like, oh, people don't want to step up. People aren't gonna step up. But it's like, look at how small of a creators we are, and we're like, isn't this just known? Like, isn't this just a known thing? Like, people have been. It's not that people don't want to step up and say it. Is that people aren't platforming those who are like making these accusations. Now, of course, you can't make them without freaking evidence. That's what Deorio's getting to.
All right, you ready?
I mean, the thing is, this is only one person.
And this is the December, this is the New Year's stream with Deorio, Chud, and Tom. So if you were there for that one, it was a good stream, but this is them trying to talk about Pixie and the leaks and all of that without actually using any names.
Guys, Destiny's gay. He sucks cocks. All right, you ready?
I mean, the thing is, this is only one person, though. So what you'd have to believe is that every single person whose video was sent consented to it, right? Now, obviously, there's some discussion and, not non-certainty over who certain people are, and saying it makes it clear who that is, and maybe they've not confirmed it's them, so it's a bit complicated.
Wait, what do you mean by...
The reality is, I do not believe that every... Sorry, go on.
What do you mean by all the different people?
Well, there's obviously multiple clips of different people having different sex
Wouldn't
acts
it be
happening,
cool
right?
as
The easiest one to
zombies match with these people. Like, that's what they're doing. They're just chilling, talking about shit and playing zombies. Like, that'd be fun as fuck.
I mean, it is, and we've done that before, like on the freaking the election stream and all that.
Well, we did on election stream, but like imagine like covering like breaking drama and just like
no, I hear what you're saying. No, I mean, yeah, we definitely can do something like that and talk about it in the future once we're able to get back to doing streams. And things only got more hectic, so
For instance, the guy whose fucking cock was getting fucking sucked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and which again,
gotcha.
just to be clear, I agree with everything.
Wasn't that the guy?
Okay, this is very simple. This is really simple. Do you think Every single person whose video got shared said, yes, I'm happy for that to be sent to some random person in the future I don't even know. Do you think that happened?
If I had to guess, probably not. But it's also
Right.
Destiny, who's a fucking freak and has a very strange life and does a lot of weird sexual stuff. So who fucking knows? If they're already fucking each other, is it unreasonable for me to, or sorry, if Melina and Destiny are fucking each other and they're fucking all these random people, okay, and who knows who else is involved, okay, is it unreasonable for me to assume that they would also be like, when she doesn't she have like an OnlyFans or Fansly? Is it unreasonable for me to be like, well, I have no idea. Don't they send porn to everyone?
Well,
like,
I'm not sure if the kind of material that was being shared is the kind of stuff she would post to a Fansly account.
All right, I think that we're caught in a fucking thing here. Tom, you need to concede that it's reasonable to assume that there's like
need to
get absolute, like, before we come to any conclusion, we need to know whether these things were fucking shared with consent of all parties. It's reasonable to
There's no hard allegation on the table. There's no thing that's been slapped down that is this person has done this thing to me.
Saying,
and that's the thing is that Chud is saying you can't reasonably say that everyone consented to it, while also Tom is saying that is true, but it's not unreasonable to believe that people they did consent to it because of how often Destiny does stuff like this, like sending porn to material to other people.
What we were pretty much saying.
Yeah, it's basically saying is like we need confirmation on whether or not it was sent with consent, and that's it. Like. And once we knew that, then a decision is made.
Melina did. That's why we're playing the clip. I'm arguing that she wants people to know about it. That's why she's talking about it.
Yeah, she's putting it out there in a way where she can let people know, but not directly address it. So
but at the same time, like, how many people have we covered on stream who don't want something to be talked about and talk about it anyway? You know, like nobody actually.
Yeah, but none of them are like
the rule.
None of them are like Destiny's ex-wife and like large political string. You know what I mean? Like, this is like we talk about little dipshit retards who say stuff like that.
Well, is there any charge that could be pressed if that's true?
No, but it's maybe, yeah, potentially, but that's not why I'm talking. I'm talking about more of a moral issue, right? Like, even if it's not legally revenge porn because he didn't distribute it with a malice, which I don't know, depending on what state, if that even matters or not.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear,
and that's what I was saying too, right? Is like that, intent means a lot, and freaking in the last video I was saying that I don't know if freaking he did it with malice, because in order to be malicious you have to be, you have to have intent, you have to be aiming to hurt this person, and I don't think Destiny cared about that person enough to want to hurt them. Like, it's different. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person or he's not a bad person. I'm saying is that he just doesn't care enough about the person for him to have malice. He just does it because he wants to. That's it. It wasn't like a F you to the chick.
I'm not, to be clear,
which is honestly worse. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's a distinction between legality and morality. I'm just
yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Curious if there's a charge you can press, if that's true.
I know Queen's going to say that I'm a really crazy based person here who's giving the best takes possible, but I really think that you ought not distribute pornography of people without their consent. I know it's a brave take from Nick Deorio, but if that is
the thing is like revenge porn requires intent in most of the stuff that I've read. So you need.
Well, I mean, yeah, like proving intent is one of the biggest things in court when it comes to a criminal case. It's like you don't need a motive, but like it definitely freaking helps
to be doing it specifically with the intent of like shaming or harassing them in some way, right? But just because the intent isn't there doesn't mean something wrong hasn't happened. And that's why I think there's this thing of like non-consensual distribution of intimate images, because it strips away the intent aspect.
I don't, like, basically, if you're sending random people stuff like this, then odds are you've been sending it to other people that are kind of more relevant.
And see, that's what we said in the last video too. It's like, this obviously isn't the first time. Like, you don't just do that. Like, it's not just something you're just like, whoop, here you go. Oopsie, dropped that. Like, And obviously he was very
slipped out of my hands. Like,
yeah. And in the last video, we have the screenshot of him sending it to the person. And it wasn't even like, well, first off, it was creepy because it was almost like he was bragging about how young they were. But secondly, freaking, it was like, oh, you want that? Here you go. So he was basically, he even was like, oh, I don't know how, I don't really have a whole lot of this. Like, let me look through my categories real quick.
Or more
that's
around
weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I understand if everyone consents to it, but it's like,
long period of time. You don't just you don't start with random person.
YouTube streamer named Anna Voir. Anna would go on to become known for insisting, often tearfully, that she was actually in a long-term romantic relationship with Destiny, which Destiny denied, painting her as crazy to his audience.
Imagine if Destiny becomes 2025's Onision. I don't think you guys realize the magnitude of like if this stuff turns out to be real. Again, we're gonna look through this. Even DGG chat is like fucking terrified at the concept of this stuff being real. This is again some of the worst leaks I've ever seen. It goes without saying, yeah.
So,
like if you and I had like sexted or something or traded nude,
like this is gonna be on Hassan Piker. This is gonna be on like every potential A-log stream. Everybody who hates this guy. Yep. This is like goodbye.
I have this to say. This guy has been outed for some pretty heinous shit in the past, but like, why do I have this feeling like, oh, he's gonna be outed as a sex pest and somebody who non-consensually shares like nudes and porn with people, but like I feel like it's not gonna affect him that much. I feel like it's just gonna like I'm sure his numbers might be dipped, but like he's not gonna get banned off of Twitch.
He's already banned not gonna get Twitch. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm pretty sure doesn't he stream on Kick or something?
Maybe, but like my point is like I don't. For some reason, like I personally would love to see this be the downfall of Destiny because I don't think he deserves. I don't think he deserves the amount of fame that he gets and the orbit that he has. But I don't think this is going to be the slam dunk. There's going to be some type of technicality that lets him go free. I honestly, the fact that everybody assumes that he does this shit is feeling like that's what everybody's gonna go with. Like at the end of the day, like everybody just knew that he does this. Like I feel like that's gonna be the like.
I think
the escape route, the scapegoat.
Right. The big thing I think is going to be the amount of time, because if she takes way too long, and I know it's not up to her, like obviously you need the money to do this lawsuit and all that, but it's like the longer it takes for any like level of punishment to start moving forward, the less people care about it, because it eventually becomes old news and it leaves the freaking the news cycle, and then you have to kind of drum up anticipation for it all over again. So I don't know exactly how it is. Everyone's covering it at this point in time. It's going to stay a big story for a while. People are going to, I mean, there's just more information to come out, because apparently there's, a couple of other girls and they might come out now too as well. They might speak out. They might do their own videos. They might drop their leaks. I mean, who knows how many other people might come out and start like making these accusations. I mean, it just takes one domino, man. That's it. So we could be doing this for the remainder of the year. You don't know.
My political career, like if this turns out to be real, yeah, it's a fucking complete disaster for him, optically and just in general practice.
And you're like, I'm gonna leak your nudes, and I go, fuck you. If you leak my nudes, I'm gonna leak your nudes. Is that like blackmail, or is that like abusive? I disagree.
It is blackmail.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to them?
I think it's about proportional. If you're leaking like sexual material and shit from another person, yeah, fuck it. I think it's proportional.
Destiny has also at least once admitted to...
That's crazy. I'm sorry. That's fucking insane. Yeah, dude, leaking sex is the same thing as leaking fucking pictures of people's naked bodies. That's proportional.
To accidentally sending...
That is absolutely...
He has only gone like more and more extreme left. Like we all know it. Everyone's seen it. He's gone from a regular, normal, like leftist to just, oh yeah, everything's okay. Like, no, you fucking psychotic.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's go back a second.
Crazy. I'm sorry. That's fucking insane. Yeah, dude, leaking sex is the same thing as leaking fucking pictures of people's naked bodies. That's proportional.
To accidentally sending...
That is absolutely absurd.
Made videos of him and his wife to people who his wife did not in advance approve of, in accordance with a previous agreement that he wouldn't.
Me and Melina had a conversation about, there were a few girls we talked to, it was like, oh cool, like we should record videos of like us fucking shit and send it to people, like it's fun. I kind of like have like my little archive of like Coomer material that I'll send to people that I want to.
So much
there were girls that I talked to past that I'd sent stuff of like either me.
Listen,
I do. I will say the and it's funny because Deorio actually said this in his live today. He was talking about it, but yeah, I agree with the person who said that like the TTSs are only a issue when you're trying to watch it back and record, but watching it back live, there's no issue with it. But man, during the recordings, it's difficult. Might have to cut them out as best as we can.
Do X on X person, or else we get monologued by Sunday in Minecraft.
I'm sorry. Thank you for the donation. It's very funny that Destiny said, Nick, you need to maximize your revenue during the Destiny segment. That's actually very funny. I'm going to leave that in the VOD.
If I want to. There were girls that I talked to past that I'd sent stuff of like either me or Melina. And Melina talked to me and she was like, hey, if you're going to send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like, let me know that first. Because she wanted to be careful. And so I was like, oh, okay, sure. That's fine. I didn't think about it at the time because I didn't think it mattered.
And like I said last recording, man, ain't nothing wrong with a bad bitch who let you push record. But if that's the case, man, don't turn around and like screw that problem. Like, don't screw that freaking golden goose, bro. That's freaking. Destiny is just somebody who lacks any sort of empathy, any sort of sympathy, any of that. Or maybe he doesn't even lack it. Maybe he does actually derive enjoyment out of like screwing and fucking people over. Because you can't just be somebody who does it constantly and yeah, it's gotta be like it's gotta be like a kink for this guy. Like God, he's just such a piece of shit, man.
For the first thing, like, okay, yeah, I should have like checked 100% with Melina, but like this.
Other examples of threats and sexual misconduct made by Destiny are plentiful, but the general point is this: Destiny has a very bad history when it comes to sharing intimate material of people that he is sexually involved with without their consent.
And see, this is like one of those things where it's like, it seems everybody knows this. Everybody seems to know this. Like,
right.
I don't understand how girls just keep on like fucking this dude. Like, I guess maybe it's because of how freaking much of an echo chamber they keep the whole DGG network over there. Maybe that's what it is. People aren't allowed to, talk ill of him the same way they're not allowed to like talk ill of freaking Hassan and shit like that. So, or how they're not allowed to talk good about freaking commentary community on YouTube/drama.
Yeah,
on the
no idea. I try to wrap my brain around it. I could spend probably 2 hours trying to theorize, but yeah,
I that's really what it is. It's just cult mentality, and you're not allowed to learn any bad things about the cult.
And of using the threat of their release to keep people in line. If this brings a certain Diddy to mind, you are not alone.
Oh, come on, dude.
Oof.
Yeah, come on. Like, I mean, at the same time, blackmail is blackmail, but he's not Diddy. He's not being accused of freaking rape out here or anything, or like making people sex slaves.
Dude, what is it with people just like injecting?
He ain't got 1,000 bottles of lube in his basement.
I mean, we don't know that. He might. Yeah.
Into every fucking story. I mean, I don't know. I made a joke privately called fucking Erudite Ghislaine Maxwell. That was pretty out of fucking pocket. So I don't know if I could really complain. But dude, this reminds me of the fucking Rosanna.
That was pretty on point.
Cancino video. Diddy is the new Hitler. Yep. Diddy is rapist Hitler.
Like with Diddy, when people speak out about Destiny's misconduct, the responses vary from silence to dismissal to outright.
Are you calling him Didstiny? Chill.
Threats of exposing their intimate information and media. Unlike with Diddy, these aren't just allegations. We have the receipts. In 2023,
okay, but we also have receipts with Diddy too, though. I get what you're going for, but there's actual evidence. Otherwise, this motherfucker would never have been arrested by the FBI. Like 98% conviction rate for a reason. Yeah, like this wasn't we got a tip.
Destiny's wife Melina publicly separated from him. In response, Destiny went on stream and indicated multiple times that he was confident that Melina would not leak any.
Yeah, before Sunday went postal, he sent me this clip. I'm imagining this is what's going to play next.
Unsavory details about the relationship to the public because he too had compromising information on her and logs that would seriously harm Melina's reputation if they were revealed. Whereas, since his reputation around relationships was already so low, he would be effectively immune to the consequences.
And it's kind of what we already said too. Like, he's known for being an absolute piece of shit. Like, he's known for being like a disgusting human being.
Like, it feels like this is not gonna. It feels like this could possibly be the downfall, but like this also feels like everybody's kind of looking at him, looking at him, then looking at Pixie, and then looking at the other ladies that are coming out and going, "You guys didn't know about this?" Because everybody's looked at him and gone, "This is why you don't fuck Destiny." Like,
Right, and that's what I'm like. It
just
just
don't do it.
well, it also just doesn't make sense. Like at some point in time, like I don't know. I guess it's the whole people freaking convincing themselves that some multimillionaire picked you and only you because you're the special little sunflower. I don't know. It's wrong. It's still wrong that he's doing it, but there are so many signs. There was so many different red flags there. Like so many people have come out and said these things. Like
Why do you think that she isn't going to leak or talk shit? Melina will not leak or talk shit about any of this.
And him and his wife Melina are just had an incredibly toxic relationship at the end of the day. So I'm pretty sure that they absolutely would have gone back and forth. Like I just they're huge. It would have been bad for the both of them anyways, because Destiny, like as the liberal, moral, high ground-esque type person he tries to go ahead and pretend to be, it wouldn't look good on him either to go ahead and start leaking all this stuff about Melina. It doesn't really matter. None of them look good with mud on their face. So
because she knows that everything about this makes her look like a f***ing satanic demon. She knows that. She's threatened it a million times, like, I'm gonna start leaking everything. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, if you really want to, holy f***, because my reputation is already 0 in regards.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. Dude, my reputation's already in the toilet. I look like fucking shit already in the situation. So please leak. I'm happy to fight with you. Oh my God.
It's our relationship.
Basically saying I got nothing to lose. That's really what it is.
Everybody thinks I'm a horrible piece of shit. We want to start leaking shit. We can do it.
Fast forward to November 2024. Due to the solo leaks, it has come to light that Destiny has been sharing intimate private messages, nude images, and pornographic videos with a 19-year-old OnlyFans creator called Rose, who he was sexually interested in at
Rose is coming. What an ass. This isn't Bo Black's at all.
the time. Rose leaked these to a
Yeah. Listen, there's not a lot of creative names in the not safe for work community. Come on, man. They're all kind of, cut from the same cloth.
Discord and Kiwi Farms user called Solo Leaks, who may, for all we know, be Rose herself, who then published them to Discord and to Kiwi Farms. These leaks included intimate romantic and sexual DMs between Destiny
No, it's Rose Malay! You know what?
and Lauren Southern, who Destiny had long denied being romantically involved with while she became
I can't stress this enough. The allegations and the leaks are coming from someone that is supposedly a random OnlyFans porn star that Destiny wanted to have sex with, right? Apparently that person's account got
some random 19-year-old, which is crazy because it's like, in order for them to have been hacked, like what would have been the purpose for them getting hacked? Like, unless this person was like huge on OnlyFans or whatever, but it doesn't sound like they were, like, because their name isn't even really out there. It's other people. It's freaking Destiny and Pixie and not so Erudite and Dan and Sunday. Like Rose is just like a footnote, so it doesn't seem like she's very important. It seems like she got sent them and she decided to leak them, or that's what it sounds like.
Hacked hypothetically. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was. And this contains Lauren Southern leaks, Melina stuff, and Pixie's nudes. I mean, like, again, this
either that or you never know. Maybe Rose was a secret agent, man. It was like, oh, I heard he does this stuff and decided to, see if she can't do a little expose for somebody else. Who knows? It just the how everything got leaked out is just seemed. Well, yeah, how everything got leaked out seems very fishy. There's not a definite answer as to how.
Looks really fucking bad, man. This looks really fucking bad.
Recently present in his public personal life and on stream, despite being publicly at odds with each other politically on the surface. Destiny even once described her activism as involving, quote-unquote, drowning refugees. These DMs revealed that in fact, Destiny and Lauren Southern had been mutually declaring their love and admiration for each other, including expressing intentions to separate from their respective partners to marry each other. All of this was happening behind the scenes, despite Destiny publicly claiming to his audience that he and Lauren were not involved.
And it's like, again, one of those things that we said in all the videos at this point. If there's a chick within the Destiny orbit, 9 out of 10, they were together. Or like I thought that was just another known thing too. Listen, there's a reason why all the people around somebody popular are all the exact same thing. They're all the same type of mentality, all the same people, all this, like they're cut from the same cloth. That's what orbiters are. They'll do whatever they can to get that freaking, that follow, that like, that push, that whatever. And Destiny even says it too.
President Sunday guy is doing.
Yeah, yeah, freaking Sunday is riding off of coattails though, like the hate boners and all that. Being a little snake.
And while he was publicly accusing his wife Melina of lying and of being controlling privately, when she would express displeasure about the relationship and when she requested that Destiny stop associating with Southern. Solo Leaks also published a massive dump of revenge pornography, which featured various sexual encounters with numerous men and women that Destiny had recorded and sent to Rose as part of their flirtations, which incidentally include...
Again, my point is, and I think this is basically a fair argument, if this is real, if all this stuff was non-consensual, and let's be honest here, the odds of it being non-consensual are way higher than all of these people willingly saying that they could fucking share their nudes in the goon bank to like hook up with other women and stuff. The odds of all those people saying that they're totally down with it are extremely low. Right? It's also extremely daring to just try this for the first time with some random porn star. He needs a really good explanation as to why this is occurring, and a really clear one.
And there isn't one other than I just wanted to smash. Like that's literally what it is. The thing here is that with Destiny, like, because like he had that conversation with Melina, right? And I assume the reason why she was wanting that is so that way she can at least have a name of the people that's sending it in case of ever, you know, like this getting leaked out. But the thing is like, you got to imagine that list for her would be incredibly long. Like, even if even if he did that.
Listen, the only thing at this point that would make me like somewhat respect Destiny at this point would be is if his response was something along the lines of, I was up to my eyeballs in cum and I just had to let it out, so I did things that I'm not proud of.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go the other round of, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Listen, it's just.
I mean that in turn is admitting that he's a piece of shit. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's just, dude, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that these women's were so mishandled. Like their privacy was mishandled in such a way just to be able to get his rocks off without any care in the world, because he himself was already had a tarnished reputation. So he didn't care about tarnishing other people's reputation, which is the whole reason why I said I don't really think he could have done any of this with malicious intent, because he just doesn't care. And it's crazy how this person is supposed to be the freaking left party, the party that supposedly cares about your feelings. You know, it's just, it's wild.
Because it doesn't sound like this is a one-time thing if you're doing this to a random porn star you've just met.
References to how he recorded other people not included in the dump, including a recording of a sexual encounter with someone he met on the gay dating app Grindr with no mention of having alerted this person to the fact that they were being recorded. Note, it is a felony to record sex acts without consent in the state of Florida. So to recap, Destiny, who has a long history of threatening associates, friends, and family with public humiliation and exposure through releasing revenge pornography and intimate messages, actually did leak a tremendous quantity of compromising, sexually humiliating messages, images, and videos featuring other people to at least one person without their consent.
And I do believe that, I would be hard pressed to find a state or think of a state that wouldn't like say, hey, recording a sexual interaction without consent isn't illegal. But yeah, it's just kind of like recording like phone calls and stuff of a two-party consent state. So
Destiny has always been boldly willing to threaten.
But definitely, especially if you're a female, good idea is to look up the state law on that. I'm just to know. I mean, listen. Whether it scares you or not, like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's good to know like where you are.
Leaking private intimate material such as during his separation from his wife.
And I will say, we're gonna look through this tonight. I find it fairly interesting that like I imagine this camp was probably trying to figure out how this was gonna go for a little while. Like, I'm not accusing Dan of anything, but I thought it was very surprising to see Dan call into Tom's stream today, like immediately. I don't know what's going on over there. If you guys aren't familiar, Lonerbox left streaming this week, and I mean, I imagine this is partly the reason. If I have to guess here, I don't know for a matter of fact, but Lonerbox leaves the stream.
Lonerbox is Pixie's freaking boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, whatever. He left. Yeah, I left the stream. Was all vague about why.
Pixie puts out a statement. Lonerbox retweets it. Okay, Dan shows up on Tom's stream today. I imagine the fact that this is a little peculiar for Destiny's way of responding, and then related to all this other stuff that's been happening in the last 24 hours. This is like, it's like a code red that we're seeing here.
To retaliate against women he was slandering, like Anna, or even just for the sheer pleasure of it, as in the case of Blue Tea mentioned earlier, where the only purpose was revenge. This time, however, somehow, there is nothing. Not by Destiny, nor by anybody else. No streams, no video exposés, no tweets by any notable figures denouncing what is an obvious massive breach in ethics and consent. Nothing.
Again, by the way, I'm just making this point. It's January 20th. These leaks happened like 2 months ago, right? Or over a month and a half ago. Why wasn't this video compiled back then?
Everyone being...
Which is a very good point. And see, that's the same thing that we were saying about the girls that came forward about freaking, came forward to Pixie about, oh, I was informed that they had gotten my stuff back in 2003. It's like 2003. You should have been name dropping and been mad.
On that one's long gone.
Yeah, you should have been. Well, 2 years. I don't know about that. A year plus. Who knows? But regardless, it's like, how are you not more pissed off at that? How are you not more mad at that? How are you not more upset with these people that they didn't say anything? And it's the same thing with President Sunday. Like, you didn't want to come out with this video because you didn't feel you had the credibility to go after him. You needed that little extra push. You needed that, you needed Nick Deorio, like I said in the beginning. Like, you needed his freaking influence. His rubber stamp of approval, if you will.
Why did this take until now for you to drop?
Silent about something that by all rights should be a...
I mean, it almost seems like you needed like one more piece to the puzzle before you went forward with it. I wonder what that could have been.
Massive sex and abuse scandal about one of online politics' biggest and most controversial figures. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is not just a story about a man, but about power. At the center of this scandal is a concerted effort by Destiny's friends, associates, and community to conceal and hide his wrongdoings by any and all means.
Which, I mean, like, we all know that's true. We all know that that's 100%. I mean, we saw it with Erudite, we saw it with Dan, we saw it with everybody. Same with the whole Hassan, Habibi, and freaking Hummus, and versus H3 with freaking Frogan, and that other retard who got banned for like a week or something. Like, we've seen it with these big characters, and like we said, people will come in and protect the money. Like, that's just the bottom line. And when we watched, or when we were reading in the last video, the text messages between Erudite and Pixie, there was even times where I broke down what freaking Erudite was actually saying, in my interpretation at least of it. There was definitely some times where she was texting, or when she was sending a text message that
using lawyer speak.
Yeah, was a little too polished on her text messages.
This includes deleting any mentions of the leaks on Discord and Reddit, obfuscating the issue by
You should see this fucking thread. Unironically, Destiny will be making a post and statement within the next couple of hours. Until then, all posts will be removed and locked regarding the civil suit. Do not link or talk about things even in this thread. If you even suggest going somewhere in the thread, you will be nuked. Do not talk about anyone involved whatsoever.
And this, again, like, this is just more and more proof about like what I just said. It's an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber where they can't be wrong because they don't allow any other opinion. They don't allow any outside thought. They don't allow you to think for yourself. At the moment you go ahead and you say something or do something that steps out of line or doesn't align with their beliefs, you're done. They throw you out because they only want people who are going to act and think the way they tell them to, which is, I mean, as much as this party likes to turn around and call other people Nazis, I mean, I'm just saying.
Post is from 7 hours ago. That's like fucking unreal.
Acting as if the leaks only contain private sexual behaviors and therefore aren't anyone else's business, or even offering money to the victims in exchange for their silence. Now, if one were to say that the creators around Destiny were simply remaining silent about this scandal in order to continue to capitalize on their friendship with Destiny and
Civil
have
suit,
access to his audience...
Chat, we're going all the way through. This is the beginning. We're gonna get to the end. I got everything here, but we're gonna get all... We'll get there. We'll get there.
This would be a misleading oversimplification. Some people are doing that for sure, and some people in fact are even going out of their way to run interference to protect Destiny from the consequences of his actions. But this is not a...
Again, I don't know what is Tom doing? I'm so confused. Like, what is the criticism of Turkey Tom? He covered it today. As soon as the story broke, Tom went live and covered it on his stream today.
To run interference to protect Destiny.
It's one of those moments where it's kind of just being used for B-roll. It doesn't actually, at least I believe this, like, he's just throwing it on there for a B-roll. He doesn't actually have like a moment or an instance. Destiny B-roll footage, 1, 2, 3, 4. So.
From the consequences of his actions. But this is not a story about the nefarious deeds of evil men and women, but about power. And it turns out...
He didn't say Tom did it? No, he just threw a picture of Tom up on the screen while he read it out loud. Oh, well, he didn't explicitly say Turkey Tom. It must have been a mistake. Surely that was a misclick.
Look, I mean, I'll go back and I'll listen to that again. Maybe I'm wrong about what he said.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
This would be a misleading oversimplification. Some people are doing that for sure.
Okay. That's what I get that. Okay, some people are, so he's insinuating it. Yeah.
And some people, in fact, are even going out of their way to run
Okay, now I see what he's saying.
To run interference to protect Destiny from the consequences of his actions. But this is not a story about the nefarious deeds of evil men and women, but about power. And it turns out...
He didn't explain. It fell on his timeline. He had no... Oh, it's about Tom Dark, not Turkey Tom. My apologies.
People are simply afraid of what they have a more...
And it does make sense that he would try and insinuate that, considering Tom and freaking Destiny are friends. But even once this stuff came out, Tom covered it on his own channel and stepped away from Destiny. So, like, yeah, he's a bitch. Sunday, you little bitch. I mean, listen, I didn't get the... At least it's good that I didn't get the implication he was saying that. I thought it was just B-roll footage. So, I'm not that easily influenced like other people. I mean, you thought that too. So.
Moral right or a public sanction to say, given the sensitive nature of these leaks, and afraid of the retribution of Destiny and those in his audience if they say something that angers him. A very large creator in YouTube commentary called Deorio, disgusted at the obvious sexual abuse and public coercion he was witnessing.
The obvious sexual abuse? Like, Sunday. You take yourself a little too seriously.
Those in his audience, if they say something that angers him. A very large creator in YouTube commentary called Deorio, disgusted at the obvious sexual abuse and public coercion he was witnessing coming from Destiny and his defenders, and frustrated by the fact that people were beginning to lump him in with the others who were actively covering for Destiny, reached out to me directly to clarify why he was not being more vocal. He told me that, due to the sensitive nature of the material, despite being very confident about Destiny's guilt, he was very conflicted about coming forward against Destiny on behalf of the victims in this story without them voluntarily coming forward.
Which is a completely understandable thing. Like, it's 100% understandable that people would not like that. I mean, hell, even look at freaking like the Zay and Gray kind of thing. Like, yeah, I mean, in the most charitable perspective, Zay was the victim in that situation. We weren't gonna go and cover it without her like okaying it or any of that. I gave her heads up, told her, hey, we're gonna be covering this, we're gonna be doing this, we're gonna be doing that. Like, just let you know that's what we're gonna be covering in case you want to jump in and say anything. Like, it's just what you do. It's just the proper practice. Like, how are you gonna go to court without the victim wanting to be there? Like, you have no case at that point,
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait just a god. Hold on, wait a minute.
First, this was for two reasons. First, Destiny has a history of persuading his victims to come to his defense during a scandal. This happened once when a creator called Mr. Girl infamously attempted to accuse Destiny of lying about his relationship with...
I need to stress this today. Xylee texted me this morning and asked like why I did an interview with President Sunday. Like, unironically, I had people writing me being like, why did you interview with President Sunday? Because they thought this conversation was like consensually recorded. Like I went out of my way. I'm like, I'm gonna give the exclusive interview instead of just talking about it on stream with President fucking Sunday.
With Anne of Water.
And this just goes back to the whole anything you say on the internet, just assume in this space that you're being recorded. Anything you say in DMs, any private conversations, said it time and time again. Somebody can be your friend today, your enemy tomorrow. Like,
always assume you're being recorded. Always assume that somebody's going to take your screenshots. Assume everything. I mean, like you kind of just got to in this space because everybody's content one way or another.
Right. Well, and then also, especially if you're talking to opposition, like if you're at least can be lumped together, because it's very obvious that he was lumping in Deorio with other people. But people will still associate them because they have the ability to talk to one another, that they do talk to one another. Right. And that's not the case. So it's just, if you're gonna go talk to the guy who's beefing with somebody else, you're definitely gonna want to assume
Make sure you don't trash the guy that you're beefing with, that he's beefing with, because then
because if you start saying stuff, you gotta remember you're behind enemy lines at that point.
And in response, Destiny produced recent DMs between himself and Anna in which he got her to say that her own quoted claims against Destiny were false. And here it is notable that the fact that these DMs were between the alleged abuser and his victim did not seem to affect their credibility in the eyes of his audience. And second, because of Destiny's ability to use his hold over his massive...
Is he just not gonna mention that, like, I was recorded without my knowledge? Does that just never come up in this video?
You see, that would kind of take credibility away. That would take credibility away from what you said, or from the fact that he talked to you.
Audience to deal.
This is why the Kmplxity video should have been more clear, because like President Sunday is clearly somebody who is just as equally snaky and willing to do whatever it takes to get his piece.
Yep. Same as freaking Destiny is. And the other thing about it too is like it should definitely be known, because freaking even Deorio had put it out there saying like, hey, like after being told that after this video, and then being told that hey, the video of them, like the conversation between them, was going to be leaked, like he put it out there saying like, hey, I wasn't a part of this, like this was done without my consent, like I didn't give an interview, like he was talking about with Xylee and all that, etc., etc.
Serious reputational and financial damage to people who he feels have slighted him. Nicholas refers explicitly here to the reputational damage Destiny inflicted on another commentary YouTuber called Chudlogic when he was approached by Destiny's now ex-wife Melina to give her side of the story about the Lauren Southern.
Again, this is absolutely true. You'll hear. Well, it's not absolutely true. This is my opinion, and this is it's true that this.
Yeah, it was a little copy pasta that he did.
This is my opinion. I do believe that Chudlogic got like totally raped in his breakup with Destiny, because him and DK were talking about DK was talking about the Lauren Southern leaks and really pushing Destiny on it. And everyone was just saying all the Lauren Southern stuff was fake. And I believed the Lauren Southern stuff was fake. But then Melina reached out to Chudlogic and gave him a bunch of stuff. So Chudlogic, instead of just dumping all of Destiny's stuff and backstabbing him publicly, which in my opinion wouldn't even be a backstab.
Considering it was true, yeah, it wouldn't be a backstab.
He fucking just didn't say anything, and he just joined the commentary community and went on with his day and lost a bunch of viewers and gained a bunch of new ones. And I didn't know any of this until recently. When I saw the Lauren Southern stuff was real, my jaw dropped, because I had no fucking idea that happened to Chud. I had no clue.
Southern affair.
Which is crazy, because sometimes, and that's the thing, you get put into a position sometimes where it's like, okay, do I come out with this? Do I not? And you know what's crazy is because we had the same thing with us, and like we've already talked about this and everything with like between us and Alex Novell, where it was like, is it really worth having, like, being as small of creators as we are, is it really worth like trying to like have this little go, you know, back and forth with this guy? And it's like, it's not really
in the war.
Yeah, it's
has
not
a bigger
really,
army.
Yeah, it's not really worth it. And sometimes you kind of just have to bite the bullet and be like, fuck it, whatever, you know, another day, another time. Like, and I feel bad, but like Chud made it out. He decided to, you know, distance himself and go somewhere else and go into a different direction. But it's an unfortunate situation. Even with Melina like claiming like, yes, this is true, this did happen. Like, if the freaking victims don't want to come forward, like, you're going to be looked at as the bad guy, the guy who's just dropping all of this for the views.
So I mean, I privately told everybody I'm completely distancing myself from this guy. Is that fucking Medicare? Breaking news! Nick leaked my nudes that I shared with Tom and Augie, who leaked them to Boblax, who leaked them to Destiny. I'm suing Deorio in federal OnlyFans court. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I'm waiting for this bomb to go off, but I'm not. I don't want to be the one to. Again, though, but like this fucking video is presented as if I'm like a willing participant. It's crazy. But I mean, I feel stupid. I sent Destiny like a message of support at the beginning of this, like about his dick getting leaked, not about this part of it. Like, oh, it's a shame that your dick got leaked or whatever, which I guess is still valid.
I didn't realize how bad it was initially. I thought the big thing was the Lauren Southern leaks. I thought, oh, he's got sex tapes. Okay, surprise, surprise.
Well, in the back of my head, I was thinking, why would all these people consent?
A voice changer.
No, it's not.
To their fucking nudes being exchanged.
Well, the answer
why
is
would
they
that
wouldn't.
even happen? They would absolutely not. They absolutely wouldn't. And it's like, and I haven't really been able to talk about this with anybody because I'm at like a fucking. It's a huge risk to even discuss it. Because this guy's got such a chokehold over his community. But I legitimately think if it ever comes up, I absolutely think that's career ending. And I don't think that could be defended. And if it can be defended by his community, it would fucking completely destroy. I mean, yeah, his reputation's in the toilet. It could be lower. Hey.
And see, that's the thing that we were saying too in the first video, even on, you know, the way it was said, but it's like, if this stuff is true, yeah, like he's an absolute piece of shit. There's obviously the thought process of, okay, can he really, is this really going to affect him the way that everybody wants it to affect him, the way it should? Because, I mean, you have Hassan saying that freaking America deserved 9/11. Look at him. He's still freaking rich and famous. You have freaking one of his lackeys, Frogan, saying that American soldiers deserve PTSD. Look at her back on Twitch. Like, dude's a conglomerate. Like, what, like, is he really gonna face repercussion? And hopefully, at least to some degree, he faces the repercussion of people know, like, his credibility being dropped. Because how is he gonna now be able to try and raise the moral flag when he has this over his head, and people can just turn around and be like, how are you gonna preach morals when you share sex tapes without people's consent? You know, like it kind of. Yeah, it completely destroys his reputation.
How are you to commentate on the leaking of government documents whenever you leak people's nudes?
Right, like it doesn't make sense. This guy, yeah. Like how him being a cuck was like a freaking argument ender back in the day for a good bit. This is the ultimate argument ender. Like, you have no respect for boundaries, no respect for the needs of others, no respect for the care of others. And who's gonna want to like work with you now? Especially if it's like with the whole Jubilee stuff and all that's all these things that he was doing. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm all here for it. I'm here for the downfall of Destiny. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just one of those things where it's like, is it really gonna happen?
Future Nick here. I just want to clear up something just because I want it on record, and I don't think that this stream conveyed my position super well. I mentioned that, yeah, I'm like afraid of coming forward with certain parts of the story, and the reason for that is for credibility purposes, because I'm a third-hand source, or a fourth-hand source, technically. Hold on, there's a person who's telling a person who's telling a person who's telling Chud Logic who's telling me. So yeah, obviously I'm not like a first-hand accounted witness like Erudite or Dan, and I also don't have the evidence like President Sunday. I have one singular screenshot where this guy had the entire thing in front of him. I shouldn't have talked to Sunday, obviously, but I learned more from Sunday than I knew when I started the conversation. So I don't have my I's dotted or my T's crossed. This is a massive allegation. The words like revenge porn are being thrown around. And ultimately, I'm concerned about just doing the right thing. Simultaneously, there's also...
Yeah, this isn't no freaking locale court type of deal. This is a creator, a very, very well-established creator, putting his name and reputation behind a potential allegation that is risking their name and reputation if it's wrong, if you push a false narrative, you know? Like, yeah, you guys have seen the Becky Ritchie coverage. You guys have seen the Zay Graycon coverage. You guys have seen... Listen, we may not always be nice, but we damn sure are almost always fair.
A victim that doesn't want to come forward, right? So there are so many different ways that this situation could be not what it appears, at least from where I was sitting in like the first week of January after this live stream we did on New Year's. But my reservations were never that Destiny could put some kind of chokehold over my channel or damage me financially. My association with Destiny was a single January 6th live stream that was planned that we did together. That wasn't even a particularly high viewership stream for me. I think I had like 2 other conversations with him that turned into 0 content for my channel. He did an interview for me a couple of years ago that ultimately never came out in a scrapped Hassan Piker video. I have basically no crossover with DGG audience. I don't have like a large like private friendship with the guy either. My finances are not tied to Destiny. I could never talk to Destiny again, and it wouldn't impact my career in any such way. And Destiny could attack me publicly, and it likely wouldn't really impact my own audience's perception of me. I think this is different for people like Turkey Tom, who are significantly closer, or people like Chud Logic, who grew off of Destiny. But for me, in particular, that's not really my worry. It's never really been. But unless I get something factually incorrect about the story, there's literally nothing Destiny can do to me. And I'm far more concerned with my credibility as a content creator than I am with being bullied by larger YouTubers, I guess.
I mean, he literally took on freaking Rosanna with almost 5 million, which is way more than what Destiny has. Like, you know, he's got a lot of people who follow him. He's been very far, but it's like, yeah, no. And I'm letting the whole, freaking, I forget what these are called, but I'm letting this all ride out because this is basically just Deorio turning around and saying, listen, let me be clear. I'm not saying, oh, I'm terrified of Destiny and that's the reason why I didn't want to come forward. I was scared of him like destroying my channel. What he was saying, and is as he's saying here, is like, I'm not gonna bring forth allegations that I don't even like know where they're coming from with a single screenshot. Like, you need to have all of these things in play before you go forward with any sort of allegation. It's different if you're reacting to it or you're talking about it or you're having general discourse with it, but to actually put it forward and put weight behind it is completely different. This is his area of expertise, like doing the exposés and stuff. He just doesn't have the information to go with the allegation. He can't run with air. He can't run with like people saying, oh, this is what happened. He needs hard evidence. He needs proof of it. Yeah.
You needed a basketball to work with, not something fucking like not one of them fucking airless basketballs, you know?
Yeah, he needs to be able to have something. He needs to be able to actually have something to get the ball rolling in the first place.
I don't know. There's a stark difference in what I, as a YouTuber with a platform, can say in comparison to like a Kiwi farmer or just a regular chat viewer. Because if those guys get something wrong, or if they make a massive mistake, there's little to no, like nothing will happen to them. They have nothing to lose. Whereas simultaneously, I have to be very careful with stories like this. And I always try to be, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect. But there's a reason why drama YouTubers typically last less than a year, and I've been here for 7 of them. This is how I've always operated. This is how I will continue to operate. Bias or no bias, this is how I'm comfortable reporting stories.
And it's exactly how you should report stories. You shouldn't just be, and it's crazy too, because like one of the videos that we did, we were about to end it because like it was just basically a T channel that we were reacting to, and you pull up the news article for it because our general reaction was just going to be like, hey, like this is interesting, like this is a conversation starter. But then you go and you read it, and we got a little extra information that kind of put the video in question. You should always operate with complete discretion. You should always operate with the understanding that, okay, hey, these are accusations. This might not be entirely true, and gather as much information as possible. Like there's screenshots that we didn't look at because the screenshot is literally just the text. There's nothing else. And we're not going to put that in a video because it's like, there's no way to see it. There's no way to know if this is edited. There's no context around it. As much as freaking Mudahar had crashed out, he was very correct on like, I don't really trust things that I can't see myself or click on a link to. Like,
yeah,
you can't. And that's the whole reason why people do these types of things. They
have to be careful in this space because like one wrong screenshot, one wrong link, one wrong leak, it can ruin somebody's career on the basis of something being wrong, not necessarily because they deserved it.
Right.
It's one thing to deplatform somebody or to ruin somebody's career because they did a shitty thing, but to be wrong about them or to be presumptive about them, it's has no, like that's not fair.
Well, you don't want to push the false narrative. You don't want to push a narrative that you can't back, and yeah, it completely destroys your credibility, and then you're destroying that person's livelihood. You know, I really wish there was more of a crackdown on that, because God, there's so many people who do it.
All the facts are in front of me.
Fuck all of BreadTube. All you BreadTubers out there.
Now, a lot of people are coming up to me saying stuff like, well, Nicholas, you've leaked conversations in the past. How could you be mad about this? First of all, I'm not mad that he recorded me. I recorded him, just to be clear. Okay, so that's not an issue. I have no problem with the fact that he recorded me.
Mm-hmm.
The issue I have is presenting this now as if this is a like.
Oh yeah, the whole issue is the misrepresentation of it.
Mm-hmm.
The issue I have is presenting this now as if this is a my public facing opinion. Like, you needed credibility for your video. You needed something in your video that pushed it, I guess, to the next fucking. I guess, you needed more credibility in your video, so you came to me, and I came to you. I called you, and you recorded me, and you put it in your fucking video. And you acted like I gave you this interview.
Well, it could be. It's also it's in the toilet with people who care to know.
Yeah, no, I think this is a viral everyone story. Video why did I say I fear something? I'll explain it. We're gonna watch the actual leaked call. I don't think anyone's shown it on stream yet. But I mean, it's really all there. Community-wide story if this cover-up ever comes out.
What specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of, determinate position on this in public for you?
I mean, I'll be super candid about it. You would need to talk.
Yeah. Do you have to talk publicly? Or do you just have to see it?
No, I think I've already seen it. I think she needs to talk. Just to be clear, we're covering this tonight, and Pixie has gone public today. Just to be clear, I did exactly what I said. Pixie is
the she and the Deorio and freaking Sunday are talking about is Pixie. That it's being bleeped out.
Public, so now we're covering it. Talk publicly, because if anything, if it comes down to it, and Destiny convinces her privately to take that other. Look what happened with Chud Logic and Lauren Southern. He had Melina coming to him and telling him these things directly. And he was put in a position where he can either eat shit and be hated by that community and lose a huge percentage of his audience, to the point where I had to pick up the other half of the slack and help him out. Just to be clear, I would have never admitted that if this was a public conversation. That was not for public consumption.
Yeah, see, and that's the word. That's the thing about it, is sometimes you try and give people some inside information, and that's kind of what they want. They want you to just spill it out there.
He's not a G. He could have cut that out. He could have cut that part out.
It's
that's a behind the scenes discussion, bro.
Yeah, it's just bro, it's just bad. It's just bad faith, bad tactics, man. And listen, and I'm of the same opinion of freaking Deorio. If I have a call with somebody, especially if it's business, or if it's some content creator collaboration, whatever it might be, it's a good idea to keep a record of it, because then you have motherfuckers who are like Boblags who try and go and pretend a call happened and it went a way that it didn't go. It's just it's saving your ass, man. Freaking let's see why. Yeah, and it's not about blackmail, because all it is for you, But yeah, you don't make it very far in this content creator space, if you cannot keep a fucking secret, if you can't keep your mouth shut and identify what is okay to be talked about and what isn't okay to be talked about.
I didn't want to take credit for anything Chud related, right? To keep him. I wouldn't have said that in a public facing interview. Or
I really like you.
He could just leak those messages and be justified immediately, and it would start a huge conflict. And he did the right thing by loyalty, but you know what I mean? It's if you don't have the person, then it's you fighting on behalf of somebody else. And I've seen this go down so many times with content creators, where if they don't have the support of the actual victim in the situation, you're fighting a losing battle from day one.
So principally, your concern is that you're going to take a pretty big financial / audience hit if you were to do
Well,
this.
I think this whole argumentation is retarded. There is no time where it makes sense to go and defend a victim who isn't publicly defending themselves or expressing that they want this story told to the public. At any moment, that girl could have been paid a sum of money, or she could have come to an agreement, and she could have just tweeted, "Hey, I don't know why you're covering this. This was actually all consensual. I said that Destiny could share this," and then like that's just my ass on the line.
Yeah.
If she's not interested in protecting herself, I'm not telling her story on her behalf.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves first and foremost, and you never know what they might be. I mean, think about it like this. In our first video, we were under the impression that Kmplxity was like money hungry. So had, let's say like that was the truth, and we went ahead and put a video out that was way more like anti-Destiny and everything, and he needs to hang for this, blah blah blah, in Minecraft, like, and then she comes out and she goes, "Oh guys, it's all good, we settled this." It's like, now you have egg on your face, you look like a white knight, you look like a loser. You know, you need the support of the people that are making the accusations, because at that point everyone's gonna ask, well, why aren't they coming forward? Why aren't they saying anything? Why aren't they, like, you know, the ones like saying that
Why are
this
you being the
happened?
messenger for somebody else?
Right. And like, why are you pushing for this so hard? People will look at you like you have an agenda. And I mean, it's freaking Sunday had an agenda.
She needs to publish that shit first every single time. Not it's like it's as much a self-preservation thing as it's just like a general doing the right thing. I think there's a genuine risk. I'm sorry, would you put it past Destiny? Have you seen the way that these Destiny dramas go? That I'm gonna get left out to dry here. Because if she doesn't,
or just big dramas in general, man. I mean, like, seriously, we had a president who literally said he could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and they'd still elect him, and he still got elected. Like, come on. like guys, like, people have almost completely forgot about the fact that Trump is still in federal court. Like, yeah, I'm not saying like he shouldn't be reelected or whatever. Like, the people want what the people want. And what I'm saying is that when you're high up with power, it takes years and years and years. Look at freaking Bill Cosby. Like, you know, it just, people get paid off, people get their hush money, and then eventually, you know, that $100,000 runs dry. And then, you know, they want to say something later. So you never know how it goes.
Jeffrey Epstein, bro.
You know,
saying this guy shows back up with a fucking Google document, convinces people everything.
Who is Bunty King?
You're not expecting a twist? Anything, or even worse, if she comes out and says it's not true, then I'm fucked. Yeah.
A lot of people who would otherwise potentially be ready to support the victims of Destiny's systemic abuse of female and male.
Support the victims, bro. You don't give a fuck about the victims.
And then at that point, it becomes what victims, though, because if no one's coming out and saying anything, then they're not actually a victim, or at least the public face is that they're not victims, because they're not the ones who are out there marching. They're not the ones that are plastering, or they're not the ones bringing it to the public.
Abuse of female and male.
Support the victims, bro. You don't give a fuck about the victims. And that's my opinion, of course. He obviously disagrees. But I mean, don't sit here and pretend this is, I need to do this for the victims. I need to do this for the victims.
Colleagues are stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if he would have released all the DMs rather than just a few minute amount, man. And then on top of it, and then on top of it too, dude, it's just, yeah, no, Sunday's a piece of shit.
Wanting to call foul on some truly reprehensible behavior, and the realization that if they did, there are so many ways to spin them as the villains through Destiny's further manipulation of the victims and
the fact that freaking Sunday posted this without like Pixie one not wanting him to, like, not wanting anyone to, and then 2, not even talking to her and getting her sign off on it, like her co-sign for it. I'm not saying you need to
make her statement.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying that you always need to in order, you don't, like, if the victim is public, you don't need permission to cover it. Now it's in the, you know, now it's out there, it's for everybody. But if they're the ones who are like trying to come out about this and say these things, or they don't want it to come out, you putting a video out because you have this knowledge is wrong. Like, you're utilizing their pain in order to get a head start on, like, get your foot out first.
fellas, the best example of this, and Kmplxity, I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but It's like whenever you get your lady pregnant. You listen to your lady on if she wants to tell people. If she's ready to tell her family, you're ready to tell the family. But you don't make that decision for her and tell her family without, discussing it with your lady first. Not to similarize pregnancy with being a victim, but it's the same thing. Like Pixie's choice to whether or not she wants to go public. If you step ahead of them and you do something ahead of that, and essentially it makes anybody feel a type of way about any type of announcement, whether it be being a victim of something.
Well, some things just aren't your story to tell. Some things just aren't your story to tell.
It's not your thing to tell first, at least. Like it's understandable, like you can tell your side of the story, but like in this case, wait for Pixie. She's the victim in this case.
Or wait for any victim to come forward and say it. But I mean, Sunday does, in the call releases, Sunday does go into talking about why he decided to do it without Pixie's freaking consent. And I mean, essentially what it is that, I just didn't want this to get swept under the rug. And it's like, bro, but like you could have put this out there and it still got swept had she come out and said, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, and she tried that for a long time. I mean, obviously, but she could have easily turned around and been like, I'm not a victim. Like, I don't know what Sunday's talking about.
His massive following. Two particularly aggressive.
Or especially if she came out with a video and said, I didn't consent to Sunday putting any of this information out. I thought I was talking to a friend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now you really look like a villain and you take the heat off of freaking Destiny, which Sunday kind of is right now. Yeah.
Defenders of Destiny have been Not So Erudite and Dan Saltman, who are both colleagues and close members of his inner circle. Both have gone out of their way either to dissuade attempts to bring up the issue of Destiny's non-consensual sharing of intimate material of other people publicly, or to directly discourage his victims from speaking out.
So, to be clear, one erudite screenshot is what I got. I got it about 3 days after the New Year's stream. So we discussed this briefly on the New Year's stream, and I had heard there were rumors going through the community about some of the stuff that was going on. On the 2nd of January, I received one screenshot from Erudite supposedly talking to Pixie. I'll show it later, but it was talking about, like, I want this to be the most expensive mistake of Steven's life.
Yeah.
Implying that Erudite knew about it, implying that this actually did happen. And at that point, this became more than just a rumor, but it obviously isn't something actionable. You can't run a story like that off of one singular DM.
Right.
One screenshot does not tell the whole domino of why.
Well, and not only that, it's still just an accusation. Like her wanting him to repent and compensation for something doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't out there without her knowledge, like, or that it was sent without her knowledge.
Right.
She could have just meant like, I want damages and reparations because now I'm humiliated. So it could have been that, but obviously it's not that, like we know now.
Legal action. A major consequence of Destiny's silence and the silence of the people around him on this issue is that all of the negative consequences for these leaks have been borne by the victims, who are still being publicly shamed and harassed as I speak. However, faux concern for their well-being and their wishes to remain as anonymous and
Wait, oh my god, dude. I don't want to fucking sit here and fucking bitch about this video the whole time, because again, it's in context, it's not that bad, but what did he just say?
However, faux concern for their well-being and their wishes to remain as anonymous and private as possible has been used to shut down any discussion where Destiny might be held responsible for endangering them.
It's faux concern, therefore I'm gonna launch this without her consent. That's the alternative is just, it's so fucking crazy to me.
First place. The perverse result is that Destiny's crimes against these people are effectively being weaponized as their own defense against others who would call him out for them. For example, when one community member known as Fairy Queen questioned Not So Erudite's continued association with Destiny, given the revelation that he had been sharing porn of people he streams with without their consent, and given Not So Erudite's own avowals of being a mental health expert and a feminist, Not So Erudite claimed that she was in communication with the victims behind the scenes and that they didn't want any additional attention, and so
Hey, FQ, I get.
Yeah, we read this.
They really want a little them, which they're denying.
So therefore, Not So Erudite was actually doing the moral thing by not holding Destiny accountable for victimizing them in the first place, and for personally continuing to profit from the reputation of Destiny by whom she was employed.
Yep, and we freaking criticized this too, saying the exact same thing. Like, how are you turning around and like acting holier than thou, and you're still profiting off of him? You're talking about how he wholeheartedly believed that he felt sorry for the victims and that all this stuff. But the moment Pixie turned around and wanted to do some sort of monetary compensation, not so erudite was like, whoa, well, I don't think I can keep talking to you about this. I don't think I can keep following you down the road that you're wanting to go, because she had an agenda. She was trying to keep her back secured, and the moment Pixie started talking about taking money out of her pocket, she was like, I don't think we can be friends anymore. I don't know if we can really help each other. I don't know if I can help you with this. Like, she had an agenda as well. In my opinion, she had an agenda. She's very freaking snaky, and I don't understand why so many people.
I think all these orbiters had agendas in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of some of them weren't immediately apparent. Like with, yeah.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that all these different people were going back and forth between Pixie and freaking Destiny, like the straight whatever, and erudite, but yet they were talking to Pixie, who was talking to Destiny. So it's like, what's even the point of having a go-between if they're talking directly to each other?
Pressed on this, Not So Erudite promptly terminated the conversation. But it turns out that Not So Erudite was telling the truth when she said she was communicating on behalf of the victims, because as it turns out, she was from very early on the primary middleman negotiating the price of their silence.
Deorio?
Enter Pixie. Pixie is a tiny streamer who, like Destiny's wife Melina, was visually identifiable in the leaks. Pixie had been working closely with Destiny since she turned 20 years old in 2019, and in addition to appearing on stream together regularly,
her whole thing, as far as I'm aware, is like, I got big, I didn't have sex with Destiny, and I got to where I am today because of that. So obviously she didn't take the leaks particularly well. I don't know how you'd take a situation like that well if her nudes were actually leaked.
Destiny also got her involved in paid positions organizing for canvassing projects, like with Progressive Victory, who he partnered with in 2024, and she would accompany him multiple times to large podcast appearances such as the Whatever podcast, which he would pay for her to be flown out to. Pixie had, for a very long time, repeatedly tried to present herself as an example of a woman who could succeed as a part of Destiny's orbit, without being a member of his oft-rumored harem of women who offer him sexual favors in exchange for exposure and stream time.
And see, that was one of the other reasons why we kind of were thinking that maybe that was one of the things that she was really upset with, rather than the actual leak, is that she had this reputation to uphold, basically, and then with the leak, it kind of destroyed that, which is what led us in the Kmplxity video to think, hey, okay, well, she had this. It basically got outed that she, slept with Destiny, and now people can say, hey, you probably slept your way to the top. That squeaky clean image is now gone. So therefore, it was like, that's what it kind of came off as to what she was really upset about, rather than the whole, it being shared without consent, because that was still up in the air on if that actually happened or not.
In light of these leaks, that image has obviously been shattered and
Why did you lie about me sleeping with Destiny? Was there anything I said that gave you that idea? I'm not gonna lie. I'm just super pissed right now. I wanted to make a final good faith attempt to try to figure out where your head's at. Oh, I didn't mean to lie. I thought it was public. I can rewrite the record. That's Lav, by the way. I thought you guys had a public relationship. No, I never did anything with Steven. The most he ever did was send me like I don't know what that is, like a red-faced crying, sweating emoji? I've gotten that from plenty of men and women. That's why I wanted to know who would tell you that I can confront them or get me confused with somebody else, maybe. I think maybe I have. I'm so sorry.
She has received the brunt
That's
of
the
negative
thirsty emoji?
reactions to the scandal, since people who hate Destiny and hate the politics of the people in his group are eager to laugh at the hypocrisy of one of them, even if it means joining in the mass harassment of someone who is in fact a victim of revenge porn.
I mean, I believe that's pretty much any freaking community, like, especially, like, kind of like what we said, right? The more you deny something, the more you try and say something didn't happen, or the more you try and present something that people can see with their own two eyes, is like, they're gonna feel vindicated once it comes out.
No, This dono is exactly summarizing the whole thing. This entire situation feels like a shit show and feels like a feeding frenzy where everyone was waiting to get a gotcha on others, all because Destiny is the world's horniest man. That is the fucking truth. It feels like everybody was waiting for a shoe to drop. The shoe dropped, and then now everybody's cannibalizing themselves and willing to throw out everything and like just do whatever they can to be the person that got Destiny.
Well, and then not only that, but it's like because of this, anybody and everybody's going to come out of the woodwork. There's going to be the people who are like, I've hated Destiny since the beginning, and then there's going to be orbiters who are like, I knew all of this happened. Like I was the right good. I was the good one. Like it happens.
President Sunday, for example, he's clearly in the orbit. He's just a detractor orbit.
Yeah, I mean, he hates. I don't know if you consider it detract. I don't know enough about the guy, but yeah, it's just it is what it is. Everybody wants their piece. Everyone wants their pound of flesh, man.
Bounty King to you?
A person?
Who is Bounty
Unfortunately,
King?
Pixie did the worst thing that someone in her position could do.
The entire situation feels like a shit show. I get and like a feeding frenzy where everybody is waiting to get a gotcha on others, all because Destiny is the world's horniest man. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, this is it's just like everyone's trying to feign being like the best guy humanly possible who gets to leak this without the girl's consent.
Rather than seek legal recourse or make a
And this is, I'm not even gonna lie, the whole freaking him trying to equate why he made this video without her consent is the same thing that I hear, or I think the same thing when I hear with, well, do you know the definition of consent? Do you know the definition of a minor? Do you know the definition?
Oh,
Like, no. It's all the same, bro. It's all the same, man. In my opinion, not saying one equals the same, but it's the same mentality. It's the same mentality of, well, I didn't want this story to go unknown, so I decided and determined that Pixie was just suicide baiting, and I also determined that she wasn't in any harm's way.
I put on my knight in shining armor, and I decided to do it this way and frame these people because I'm the winner in this story.
Yeah.
public statement
Everybody's trying to be the main character.
denouncing the violation of her consent and dignity that these leaks represented, she seems to have ultimately chosen to try and profit from the situation by extorting Destiny. An American citizen who finds themselves a victim of revenge pornography has several valid actions they can take. Let's go over 3. First, they can seek legal recourse. In fact, there is a federal law on the books as of 2022 that allows victims of non-consensual exchanging of explicit material to be compensated up to
Don't forget, all of this is him showing nudes to one person. Okay, that's all right. You're just like permit. Holy shit, dude. What the fuck? No, you can't just distribute people's nudes without their consent. If you think that that's just okay because it's Destiny, you're a fucking loser. You're not even saying like, oh, imagine if the woman is lying. You're just like, dude, it's fine. He just sent nudes, bro. Peace. Get the fuck out of here.
$150,000, and that's even if the leaks were not necessarily.
And that's the other thing too that's crazy, that people are even trying to defend it, and they're like, well, like we in the last video we saw the between him and Ariadne, and it was like, well, you didn't actually leak it, you just sent it to somebody. Like, bro, because technically leaking is sending it to the public. Like, come on, man. Like, sure, okay, fine, whatever, you still sent it.
I used to work with a guy who was kind of a sleazeball, and he was somebody who was in a relationship that I kind of helped formulate. So he wouldn't show me nudies of this particular woman, but for some reason he thought it, like him and this lady thought it was okay to bring in a third person in the relationship. And you know what? However you want to live your life, you do you. But for some reason, he thought it was something that I'm interested in, to see the ladies that they're considering bringing into their relationship. So he, like, as a personal boundary, he would show me these ladies on his phone. But if he were to ever, like, send those to me, like actual nudes of me, that's revenge. I wouldn't say that's revenge porn, but that's non-consensual sharing of the woman.
Well, and see, here's the other thing.
It's one thing to do locker room cock and say, "Oh, look at these tits," you know. Like I get that, But it's another thing to physically take the picture itself and then send it.
Well, you're just
Like,
because
there's
then
a difference.
you're distributing it to somebody who can then distribute it to anybody, and it's just a big difference. And then on top of it too, it's like him sending it to you or anyone sending it to you because you don't want it. That in and of itself can be an issue. Like we
That
said,
would have made me feel uncomfortable because if my fiance would have seen that shit, that's a whole other problem. Like that's just like completely like yeah.
And well, I mean, and then I was going to say more so on the legal representation of it, because like we were saying with Pixie, is like that in and of itself would be, in a sense, I guess, sexual harassment. I don't know. There's the laws of all of that, especially online, is so crazy, but it's just wrong. It's just wrong in general, especially if you're doing it. I'm not going to say maliciously, but without concern.
Necessarily done maliciously, but only with reckless disregard for the consent.
I would have accepted that, by the way, if you said, well, what if it's fake? I would have accepted that as an answer.
The victims may even have their identity concealed. Second, they may make a public statement denouncing the person who leaked the materials and violated their consent. And in fact, this can be done in conjunction with the first option I mentioned. And finally, they can choose to do nothing. They can stay silent and hope that it all blows over. And this is their right. But Pixie did not do any of these. In an exchange that I have learned has since been circulated among the entire commentary community on YouTube and virtually everyone in Destiny's circle, Not So Erudite can be seen haggling with Pixie over the amount of money that would be appropriate for Destiny to pay her to not involve the court system.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw those text messages between the two of them.
Or to denounce him publicly. First, Pixie uses the implicit threat of her impending suicide and a scheduled note announcing it to pressure Destiny to pay out a significant sum of money. And then
now that isn't true. I don't, or well, let me rephrase that. I do not believe that she typed out a freaking suicide note to him to implicitly try to get him to send money. We never saw something like that.
Right.
I mean, there are redacted messages, but if that was somewhere in there in one of those redacted messages, I'll be honest, Destiny responded in the most calm freaking manner possible. And he continued giving her like PR and lawyer advice and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, Sunday, I'd have to really see that. You're just scrolling. I mean, if you're going to make an accusation like that, put that on the screen.
System, or to denounce him publicly. First, Pixie uses the implicit threat of her impending suicide and a scheduled note announcing it to pressure Destiny to pay out a significant sum of money. And then later...
By the way, I like the assumption that it's automatically suicide baiting.
Nicholas Deorio?
Like, this is such a terminally online fucking take. Clearly, she's just operating under the... Clearly, she must be faking because she wants a large sum of money. As if, like, no woman would ever think, holy fuck, I'm gonna shoot myself if my parents see my naked body getting fucked by Destiny. As if that's...
I mean, it's not like it would be the first time that it happened. Like, seriously, it's not unheard of. You know, that people have killed themselves for less. Like,
bro, there's the news article that's been going around about the guy who was like, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but the guy who like, I guess was drove up to a lady who was actually recording. Apparently his pants were off in his car and he was doing something with his wiener. And then he realized that she was recording. And then the next day, apparently he had killed himself because he didn't know, like, because he thought it was going to go viral and that he was going to get outed as a gooner.
That's freaking
like,
crazy.
That's on Twitter. That's on Twitter. I have no source to back it up, but that's like, it's been repeated to me so many fucking times that this guy offed himself because he thought he was going to get made viral.
I mean, I believe it. It's entirely freaking possible. Like, I mean, I would like to have something in front of me, but yeah, it doesn't sound like it's something that would be out of this world, but especially with how quickly and how easily it is to go viral these days. I mean, look at Haktua. I mean, that was short-lived, but still.
An insane fucking theory. We jump immediately to suicide baiting for financial gain.
Big threats of public denunciations and legal action. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, her friend Straighterade was colluding to advise Destiny to offer...
Yeah, so Straighterade was the one who was also in the DMs as well. Those were the other snake in the grass.
...to help her financially as penance to stave off her threats of self-harm. A situation that would obviously...
He cares about... I mean, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
...be a reputational disaster for...
And the way it's crazy too, because he could have easily turned around and been like, oh, Straighterade was like, was having some very snaky behavior. No. You see, Straighterade was such a nice person. She was trying to help Pixie in order to go ahead and have her not, off herself. We read those DMs. I don't ever remember there being a moment where Straight Edge was like, please don't do it. You've got so much to live for. Hell, if anything, I saw Destiny do it. Like,
offer to help her financially as penance to stave off her threats of self-harm. A situation that would obviously...
He cares about... I mean, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, for Destiny, yeah.
Disaster for Destiny. Note, Straight Raid has also explicitly said that she did not consider the situation serious enough to warrant a wellness check. As revealed in earlier DMs between Pixie and Destiny prior to this conversation with Not So Erudite, Pixie and her friend Straight Raid had used the specter of her impending suicide to alarm Destiny enough that he would be receptive to suggestions of financial compensation. Apparently, Pixie was hopeful from the beginning that she could get as much as a $1 million.
This is like absolutely shocking to me. This is absolutely shocking to me. Because I talked to this guy like 4 days ago.
And it's crazy because, like, we watched the Cope and Seethe video, which was made, not based off of this video, but it was made within the same realm of this video because this is what the information was out. And us, like, hearing what Sunday is saying, the way he's portraying this now after having read, like, as much of the leaks as we have so far, because we know that there is others, right? We know that there's like full leaks of like Destiny's Goon server and him going crazy and stuff, but it's not pertinent to the story that we're currently covering. But of the stuff that we have covered on like this story, it's just a completely false narrative that well, not completely false, but a good majority of this is false. That President Sunday is saying, which isn't, it's maliciously incorrect. There's no other way to freaking describe it. Like,
poisoning the well.
Not even poisoning the well at that point. It's just wrong. Like, it's maliciously, like I said, yeah, it's maliciously fucking incorrect.
And all he was talking about was how this couldn't come out because he was afraid this girl was going to top herself. This is so fucking weird to listen to because it is like he just straight up he's telling me it's not a lie, but I'm just like, this is insane.
$1 million payout from Destiny, which Straight Raid had to repeatedly talk her down from. The condition of this financial compensation is, of course, Pixie's continued silence. This would seem to imply that Pixie's decision to not go public is not because she is afraid of the repercussions, or else she wouldn't be threatening Destiny directly with legal action or public denunciations, but because she wants to profit personally.
Also not true, because just because you're not going public with it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not afraid of, or just because you're suing somebody doesn't mean you're not afraid of what they're doing. You might be suing somebody because you're fearful of what they're doing. You're doing it as a block, as a way to put a wall up. Otherwise, you're just pretty much, living under the thumb of somebody who might do something. And you could also be...
Also, who are we to really, like, in this case, decide whether or not this is something that she's doing it for money? Like...
No, we kind of did off the implications of it,
but
I mean, listen, she's already established that she is doing it partially because she wants him to lose money. That's already been established, but the reasoning for it is different, right? If he had been hacked and he didn't send any of it and she just was wanting money, that would make zero sense. And I would have stood by everything I said about her being like money grubbing whore and all that stuff. But because it is 100% established that he sent it, the opinion is, well, the fact is that he's a piece of shit and she's entitled to money. And that's how we've pretty much left every single video up until this point. Even in the last video, like, we still don't know how the leaks got out, whether it was a hacker or it was Rose who sent it. It doesn't really matter, but it would be nice to know. Especially if this was some like 5D chess move and Rose was like set up to get all this information and then leak it. I would really help that. I mean, dude, literally, I would love that. Dude freaking got outed by his own goonery.
Off of extorting Destiny, who also, it must be remembered, is a victim of revenge porn. Destiny may be the one responsible for the leaker having the images in the first place, but he shared them recklessly, not maliciously.
Yeah, but here the question really is which is worse? Maliciously sharing it, knowing that you want somebody to pay because of it, or so recklessly and without care sharing it that you didn't even stop to think about the other people. Like,
Yeah,
it's
one might have intent, but the other has
there's one is you're a piece of shit because you want to hurt this person. The other is you're a piece of shit because you're not even thinking about the other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason why people hate like drunk drivers so much, because they are so willfully unconcerned about the rest of the people on the road, knowing the damage that it can inflict on people and what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he has endured public humiliation as well for this. Destiny's close friend and podcast co-host Dan Saltman, the CEO of Redact, had also reportedly gone behind Destiny's back to advise Pixie.
I'm just completely lost. Like, wait, who's the bad person in this video? I mean, it's obvious. I guess the idea is everyone's bad.
To make financial demands of Destiny, as well as to ask her to dissuade Destiny from taking.
What did you say?
Who's the bad person in this? Including President Sunday, everybody, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say bad, but everybody definitely deserves criticism, even all the way down to Pixie. Like we've even said in our other videos, like there's criticism all around. I guess the only person we can't really criticize would be Nick in this video. That's about it.
Someone just called the video bipolar, and I agree.
Action against Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with that too, because like if we go back right here, it sounds like he's defending Destiny.
It does.
Or else she wouldn't be threatening Destiny directly with legal action, or
because here he's going, oh, Pixie, she obviously wants money, or else she wouldn't be threatening him with a lawsuit if she was actually scared of him.
Public denunciations, but because she wants to profit.
But then
first revenge off of extorting Destiny, who also.
But then he turns around and he's like, but Destiny, she's wanting to extort Destiny, who is also in tandem with her a victim of revenge porn.
So it must be remembered, is a victim of revenge porn.
You literally, like, are you pro, anti? Do you not know what you are? Like, do you even know what you want anymore?
Destiny may be the one responsible for the leaker having the.
See, because it sounds like he's like he's placating. Maybe he's a plan. He's placating here. He's basically or downplaying it. He's like, yeah, maybe he leaked it, but he's not the one who, or maybe he sent it without consent, but he's not the one who leaked it, guys. Come on.
Images in the first place, but he shared them recklessly, not maliciously. And of course, he has endured public humiliation as well for this. Destiny's close friend and podcast co-host Dan Saltman, the CEO of Redact, had also reportedly gone behind Destiny's back to advise Pixie.
I'm just completely lost. Like, wait, who's the bad person in this video? I mean, it's obvious. I guess the idea is everyone's bad.
To make financial demands of Destiny, as well as to ask her to dissuade Destiny from taking.
Someone just called the video bipolar, and I agree.
Action against Kiwi Farms for.
Yeah, and it's not the fake bipolar like that Bo Black's bipolar either. It's the real BPD. This man started out the video like wanting to freaking, in Minecraft in Times Square hang Destiny, and now we're ending the video with, guys, remember Destiny's also a victim in this money grubbing whore. Like, dude. Yeah.
Posting the leaks. Pixie has since said nothing publicly. There has been no evidence of legal proceedings being pursued, and she has seemingly ceased communications with the people she was previously working with, instead posting on X about taking the LSAT in pursuit of law school. It appears as though her attempt to extort Destiny.
I still hold with what I say. Listen, girl, you have said multiple times that you are getting daily sexual assault, that you are getting sexually assaulted on the daily. I do not believe you should be in law. I'm sorry. If you do not know what it means to be assaulted, not even sexually, just assaulted in general, I don't think I would want you representing me. That's me, but I don't know.
Has probably paid off, albeit at the expense of every other person Destiny has victimized in the past and will victimize in the future.
Who is Bunchy King?
Nicholas Deorio?
So that's the President Sunday video. Okay, so President Sunday is mad that nobody's released this stuff that he also didn't release, out of where he had significantly more information than almost.
After watching that video, especially there at the end, he's like, "There's 3 ways you could handle this. You did none of these, and I'm mad that you didn't do it the way you should have done it. So therefore, I'm going to jump ahead of you and going to make my own video to essentially a middle finger to Pixie because she didn't do it the way he wanted to.
I think it wasn't necessarily even that. I think what it was is that he was like, look, I got all of this information. I have all this evidence. All I need is for you to come forward. And she was like, I don't want to do that. He's like, well, I'm going to force your hand. Well, I want this video.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I just said. That's pretty much what I just said. You're not doing it the way I want you to do this, so I'm going to make you do it.
Well, she wasn't wanting to do it at all. Like, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. He wanted to be the guy who put out the freaking content nuke on Destiny. I mean, he wanted to be the whistleblower, the freaking person who put it on wax, basically, and confirmed for everybody that, hey, this is how it went down. This is what it is. Like, you're a snake, bro. You're a piece of shit. You're trash. You're garbage, Sunday. Like, you can't be that type of a person, bro. Like we've made I would say we've made, or I have made on this channel, I have made a single time a mistake where I have stated something that I didn't know to be factual as factual, at least in a half serious way. And I even ate shit for it, ate crow for it, and put it out there and said, okay, I was wrong, because, you know, I said it without actually saying like allegedly or potentially. Like, I said it as indefinite, as if I knew. Right. But this is Sunday literally saying, oh, you don't want to tell people that this happened to you? Guess what? You're about to. Like, everyone's gonna know. And to be the person that she, like, I don't even know why the fuck she went to Sunday, or no, not Sunday, freaking Stein, whatever the freak, Straighterade went to Sunday about all of this, like, behind Pixie's back, I'd imagine. Like, because unless there was no mention of Sunday, like, in Pixie's posts about, like, oh yeah, we work together. Like, but this is crazy, you guys. This is insane. This is unfortunate. Like, you can now see why it is that, like, off of just the small amount of information we had that narrative that we did. And it's definitely on us.
So much more we didn't need to know.
Yeah, there was a lot more. Like, and I even left the comment, I think, on freaking Deorio's live stream saying, or one of his videos saying, like, it's crazy how Sunday muddied the water so badly that if you're just a normal passerby in this sphere, you would think like that this chick was the demon. She was like this clout goblin. Like, we were thinking the same as well. And it's crazy because, like, we didn't even watch the Sunday video. We watched a video that spun off of the Sunday video that was being made because of the Sunday video. Like, this is what happens with misinformation, you guys. And if those are the two biggest things to, like, put out of this entire situation, is definitely going to be, like, always assume everything you do on the internet is recorded and going to get out in one way, shape, or another. And the other one is, don't ever, like, get all your ducks in a row before you decide to go ahead and put stuff on wax, man.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're President Sunday, bro. You're President Sunday. Your Nick is not green. You're freaking Ethan. Your Ethan is online. You're all of those freaking bread 2 piece of shits, man. Like, this is, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy, you guys. But thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of this. There is still the 2 phone calls that Deorio and Sunday had, which we'll be covering, and you guys can see that in episode either, I think it's going to be number 4 and 5, or just 4. We might shotgun the whole thing, because I mean, I think because this was 20-minute video, and those 2 combined, I think, are like 20 minutes, the 2 phone calls together. So,
so probably just
one more video, maybe 2 more videos on this. We were thinking about doing the Erudite and Tom Dark, or Turkey Tom interview. I don't think that there's anything we could really glean out of there, because it's pretty much just Erudite trying to cover her ass the entire time. And just based off of the text messages, there's no covering. There's nothing. And my personal opinion, I think that she was being a snake. I absolutely think that the moment she found out that Pixie wanted money, she was like, okay, I can't help you anymore.
The way she was talking in those text messages, and the way that, like, Pixie wasn't responding to everything that she was saying, like, those messages were layered, and there was definitely intentional layering to those messages that made it seem more simplified more so than what it actually was. Like she was saying shit within she was like saying you had to read between the lines to understand what she was trying to say.
Thank you for tuning in. We know this has been a minute since we've all been live out here or been putting out videos, and we hope you guys are enjoying us covering and we're bringing as many videos.
Maybe just maybe a big bombshell will happen, and maybe Destiny will respond, or maybe there's just damning evidence.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll go live to cover it. Maybe we'll figure something out.
Yes, but we do still have more and more videos coming out. We have pre-recorded a good amount, and we're going to continue pre-recording some stuff. We appreciate those of you who keep watching. You guys have a wonderful evening, noon, or morning, evening, noon, night, whatever the fuck. You guys have a good rest of whatever day, party, wherever, whoever. Have a good one, you guys. Peace.
Have a good one.